Protectors of the Grid, Chapter 2. Ben hung up the phone and breathed a sigh of relief. Only now did he realize how nervous he'd been, how afraid that he'd been such a jerk to her. She wouldn't care about him the way she used to. Only now did he realize that it hadn't only been that he didn't understand her. He'd been afraid of her and what she knew, just like with Kachi. He'd also been a disgusting chicken, afraid that the grown-ups would class him with her, a rebel who lived in her own fantasy world. Yeah, they had once been close, almost like twins, until their last summer trip, when Tara told him that she was working with some indigenous Hawaiian woman, studying their healing practices. He didn't even know what that was about. She tried to explain, but it sounded like science fiction to him, and he shut down, reacted badly. That must have been very painful for her. He thought now with regret. Even though she said she had to check with work, Ben felt pretty sure Tara would come. I just hope she knows what Kachi knew, the sort of thing Kachi learned from his Choctaw grandmother. Can there be any correlation between what she learned in Hawaii and what Kachi knew from his Choctaw, Oklahoma roots? One thing I know for sure, my expensive education did not teach me anything that's helpful now. Ben felt his inadequacy wrap its tentacles around him as he finally admitted what he knew, deep in his heart. Kachi never meant to hurt me. He left because of his resentment against the government. He never intended to dupe me, but hell, it sure felt like he sold me a bill of goods, a literal pie-in-the-sky dream, and took the money and ran. I've sure been feeling like I've been up shit creek with no paddle and no way out. It really pisses me off to see that I did it to myself. Ben sighed and went to his computer to check airline flights to get Tara to San Diego. He found a nonstop from Dulles to San Diego that flew 3 times daily. As soon as she said she could come, he would book her flight, and then in only 5.5 hours she would be there. Ben even thought about calling his mom to thank her being such a staunch ally for Tara. In those days, she was always going on about Tara and her mystical path. He hadn't wanted to hear it then, but now, what little he could remember made him hungry for Tara to get to San Diego. No, I'm not ready, he decided. Not ready to admit to Mom just how much trouble I'm in. She'd only freak out. Besides, I don't know how Tara, who grew up in our devoutly Christian family, could wrap her head around the indigenous stuff. Shamanism wasn't even part of the comparative religion elective I took. Maybe that's what I should research. Tara smiled to herself as she drove to work, replaying the conversation with her cousin. Finally, seems like Ben is ready to listen. I'm proud of him. It had to be hard for him to call me for help, especially me. I hope I wasn't too rough on him. Why is it that old childhood taunts and teases can still carry so much sting long after you're all grown up? As she pulled into the parking lot at the station, she looked at the clock on the dashboard and muttered, "Crap, I'm late again." I didn't even stay up all night researching this time. Maybe I'll get lucky and Cap won't be nearby, or at least he'll be otherwise involved and won't notice. Tara thought about taking the elevator to the 7th floor of the police department, then coming back down, just to give herself an alibi, but decided instead to go ahead and face the music. The elevator stopped on the 5th floor, the doors slid open, and before she could walk out of the elevator, she heard the shout, "Kano, where are you?" She darted out of the elevator before the doors could close and walked briskly toward the sound of her chief's voice. "Kano, are you late again?" "Yes, sir. I'm afraid I am. In my office." The captain's voice was deep, loud, and gruff, but Tara knew the heart hiding underneath it all. He truly cared, not only for the 200,000 people of Arlington they were sworn to protect, but all his officers and staff. He didn't have the same compassion for the chief of police, and none at all for the politics within the department or the city, but he had to play the game sometimes to maintain his position. At least as chief of detectives, he could protect his people from some of the hogwash. Tara wasn't really rattled by his yelling, but out of respect for the man they all adored, she tried to exhibit some remorse as she walked to his office. "I'm sorry, Cap. I got a call last night from back home, and I stayed awake worrying about what was happening in California. Then I overslept again." "Tara, damn it. It's been 5 times already this month. Look, I know what you work on at home at night, and it's a damn shame we can't pay you to investigate those cases during your on-duty time, but we have enough hot cases without working the cold ones. Maybe if you have insomnia, you should switch to the night shift." He glared at her, but shook his head. "No, you and I both know that wouldn't make a bit of difference. What am I supposed to do with you, Kano? If I do nothing, the whole department will start coming in late, or worse, they'll start resenting you. It doesn't matter how good a cop you are or how much people like you. If they have to live by the rules, they want you to have to live by the same ones." "Cap, this time I really wasn't doing research. I did get a call from my cousin Ben in San Diego. It's really important. Look, I need to take off for a couple of weeks. I was going to ask for some vacation time. I know right now when you're pissed at me is not the best timing, but what if you say you sent me home for 2 weeks, as a disciplinary action or something? Make it a month, and you've got a deal." "A month? What am I supposed to do for a month?" "Do whatever you need to do in California so you can clean up your act when you get back. You're on leave as of right now. I'll see you in a month." Tara walked to the elevator with head up and shoulders back, but inside her emotions swirled. She didn't say a word to any of her compadres, not even Joni, her best and favorite ally. Cap could spin this story however he wanted. Only on the ride back down in the elevator did Tara become aware that she was in shock. He seemed really mad at her, like he meant it this time. She had never been reprimanded so severely in her 20 years on the force, and she didn't like it. This better be worth it. As soon as she was out of the elevator, Tara pulled her cell phone out of her pocket and redialed Ben's number. "I got lucky. I can come to San Diego as soon as you want me. There's a flight that leaves in an hour and a half. Can you make it? You don't need to bring much. We have stores here." "No, Ben, I don't want to shop. I need time to pack, and I have to call my girls and let them know where I'm going. This isn't life or death yet, is it? When is the next flight?" "The next non-stop flight is at 4 this afternoon," he said with a sigh and a note of hope in his voice. "Okay, I'll catch that one and see you this evening. That's quick enough, right?" "Sure," Ben responded, more energy in his voice. "I'll pick you up at the airport and feed you a devilishly divine dinner." "And Tara?" "Yes?" "Thank you. It may not seem like it, but this really could turn out to be life or death."